When the Miami Dolphins are brought up in any conversation, the topic always seems to switch over to Mike McDaniel and the question of, is he the coach for the job? Should he be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins? And the answer is unquestionably yes, he should be the coach for the Dolphins. He deserves the job, and he should be the coach for years to come. Mike McDaniel came into a situation in 2022 that was, to say the least, a tough one to be in, a hard situation. Brian Flores was just fired because of a power struggle between him and Chris Greer, power struggle between him and Tua, and how this offense was going to work out. They went 9-8, but they started the season off 1-7. Things weren't looking great in Miami for Brian Flores at the head coach position. And do I think he's going to get another chance? Yes. And should he? Yes. But that's a story for a different day. The question is, the topic is Mike McDaniel, and should he be the coach of the Miami Dolphins? But as I said, he came into a tough situation in 2022. And what did he do? He embraced it. He embraced Tua Tagovailoa. He embraced the organization, embraced the team, and led them to a 9-8 record in a playoff berth. The next year in 2023, what did he do? He one upped himself. They went 11-6 and made the playoffs. They lost again, but they made it with a better record. Then this past season, they went 8-9, took a step down. But when you look at what happened, how the season unfolded, you walk away saying, well, let's just say it was a parallel move, a lateral move. Why? He went 8-9, but kept the Dolphins in playoff contention until week 17, despite Tua Tagovailoa missing 6 to 7 games, I believe, with his injuries and what happened. And thankfully he's healthy. But he did it with who at his quarterback? Oh, Tyler Huntley, who I don't know where he is anymore. I don't think is he in the league even? And Skylar Thompson, who I believe is the third string quarterback on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike McDaniel made things happen when things shouldn't have gone his way. And then entering this season, what were the headlines saying before the season began? The culture's doomed. The team is destined to lose games. They're going to fall flat on their face. And what happened in week one? Well, they did, right? They fell flat on their face, fell flat on their face. But what did he do the next week? Coached them to a 33-27 loss to the Patriots. Good team, possible playoff team in New England, and they lost. Okay, fair. But then what happened in week three when things should go even more south against the best team, arguably the best team in the AFC, arguably the best team in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills. He went out there and led the team Dolphins to a competitive game. A game that was a one-score game all the way down to the final couple minutes when Tua threw the interception in Bills territory. Gave him a chance to tie the game. Then in week four, when things should be even worse, they beat the Jets and beat the Jets handily. It felt like it was never a close game because it wasn't a close game throughout the entirety of the game. Mike McDaniel was a leader. He had this team focused and ready to play, and a team that was ready to play for their coach. We've seen so many examples year in and year out, weeks in and weeks out, of teams and players quitting on their coach, quitting on their quarterback, quitting on their teammates for who knows what reason. But it happens, whether it's week four, week one, week 12, week 17, it doesn't matter. Like look at the Panthers. Bryce Young, young quarterback, number one pick, Heisman winner, comes in, Frank Reich at head coach, and the team quit on Frank Reich and he was out of his job by like week 9 or 10. It was over. Things happen fast in the National Football League. But with Mike McDaniel, even though this roster had nothing brought onto it, players left out the door, try to reset the team. No signs were made. The only contract that was really inked that mattered was an extension to Zach Seiler, who had 10 sacks last season on the defensive line. He has nothing to play with, Mike McDaniel, and he goes out there and he gets these guys riled up and ready to play. He's a leader. He's a leader to this team. So yes, he's the unquestionable head coach. He should always be the head coach of the Dolphins for many years to come. What he's accomplished for the Dolphins in his 3+ years are nothing short but amazing for Miami. When he led the Dolphins to back-to-back playoff appearances in 22 and 23, it was the first time that's happened to the organization since 2000. Okay, for the past 25 years, that hasn't happened since they did it in 2000 and 2001. Mike McDaniel is a heck of a coach, and he's right now the best thing that's happened to the Dolphins, and that can be twofold. Well, it can be A, yeah, the Dolphins haven't really had a lot of success in general, but B, Mike McDaniel is a brilliant head coach. He has a he has an identity of how he wants his offense to run. He had it in San Francisco when he was the offense coordinator there, and he brought it to Miami. Speed, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. He made Devon Achane, a mid-round pick, into a dynamic running back who's looks like one of the better running backs in the National Football League. Raheem Mostert had a 1,000-yard rushing season in 2023 with Mike McDaniel as a head coach. Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, same idea. Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell, same identity in the 49ers. He knows how to build a competitive roster. And going forward, it's a big question of what is Stephen Ross going to do with this team? Is he going to move off Patua, Chris Greer, the general manager, Mike McDaniel? The answer is unclear. I don't know, but it seems like he has a good relationship with Mike McDaniel, and rightfully so. And he should be keeping Mike McDaniel as the head coach for years to come, especially as they enter this new age of Miami Dolphins football. In 2026, 2027, they have a plethora of picks. They have every single one of their own draft picks in 2026, with the exception of the sixth rounder, but they have an extra third from the Houston Texans. They have every single draft pick in 2027, with the addition of an extra fifth rounder from the Pittsburgh Steelers. But here's the big thing that's coming into play. The contracts. Tyreek Hill, after this season, his contract is done. They can opt out of it, pay him no money. Tua Tagovailoa, after the 2026 season, he has an out in his contract. It goes until 2028, but he has an out after the 2026 season. Minka Fitzpatrick, his contract expires after the 2026 season, a very movable deal. Zach Sealer, the defensive lineman they signed to an extension, his contract doesn't hold a lot of money. It's about, I want to say, 10 to 15 million dollars per year with an out in 2027. Bradley Chubb, his contract expires in 2027 with a potential out in terms of just saving money by cutting him compared to the cap hit in 2026. Jordan Brooks, his cap is over the dead cap in 2026, which is also his last year, meaning they can cut him after this season or let him play through his contract. Jalen Waddle is someone who I think will stick around, but he has an out in his contract, an option that comes to that comes about in 2027 after the 2027 season. So point being, this is a team that has a lot of moving parts. All their draft capital is out their hands. Their whole salary is going to be at their disposal because those are basically all the guys are paying, and all their deals are coming up in the next 1, 2, and at most 3 years with the Miami Dolphins after this season. They have a young nucleus with Jalen Phillips around, Kenneth Grant, Chop Robinson, who is playing good football. I know people are pointing at him like he's not, but he suffered an injury in week 2 against the Patriots. Didn't play too well in week 3 against the Bills because he was still nursing the injury. And then against the Jets, he played with a lot of competitive fire. He played good football against the Jets. I believe he had like 6 pressures against the Jets and 20 snaps. Uh, three pressures and 20 snaps against the New York Jets last week. And then they also have on the offense Devon Achane, Ollie Gordon, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, the speed guys he likes, Patrick Paul, Brewer, who's been playing really good football as a center, Jonah, their guard, who's been playing well. Austin Jackson, I don't really know if he's going to get a contract extension. What's going on there? He's on the IR. So we'll see what's going to happen. Teron Armstead retired this offseason, which saved $15 million per year. There's a lot of money. There's a good nucleus of guys, and there's a lot of draft capital. And so it's going to be what happens with this organization moving forward. Do they draft a quarterback? Do they keep Tua? What do they do? And to that, I say you trust in Mike McDaniel. If he wants to move off of Tua, doesn't seem a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, do it. Cut him. If you have to pick a quarterback, let him be the guy that drafts John Mateer or drafts Archer Manning or drafts Lenore Sellers or drafts DJ Lagway in 2027. It doesn't matter. Let him be the guy to call the shots at wide receiver if they want to draft Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams or to get a defensive player like Peter Woods or TJ Parker. Let him be the one to make the decisions because he has proven to everyone that he's a leader. He's a heck of a football coach. He propelled Tua to the 2 best seasons of his entire NFL career. Tua looked phenomenal, even though Tua has his own exceptions as a quarterback. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. He's not the most mobile quarterback. Mike McDaniel made it work. He has the entire makeup of what makes Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, 2 of the greatest offensive coaches, tick. What makes them awesome. And I point those 2 in particular. Obviously, Andy Reid's up there. But they're from the same grouping of guys, too. They're from the same coaching tree. If you're a Dolphins fan, keep Mike McDaniel as your head coach. He's the one with the keys to the street. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts.